Hi there, this is Matt Ertz, your Madison County Historian. We are continuing our series talking with different people about how they're dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. We're really lucky today to have Ashley Marshall and Rebecca Warbella of SUNY Morrisville. They're here today to talk a little bit about the dairy program that's going on. Can you guys kind of walk us through how did this all come about and what the program is?
I guess it came about because it was one day, I think I was sitting on my couch just watching some of the depressing news stories about essentially how hard it is for everybody, people that have lost their jobs, essentially the huge demand that was going on in the food pantry. We almost can't keep up. And at the same time, thinking about what was happening in the dairy industry, where there's all of a sudden essentially a loss of all of their sales of, say, cheese and any of those types of products that they were selling through school lunch programs or just even the school system itself. Restaurants, things like that, has actually resulted in a over production of dairy goods that we right now don't have a place for it to go. So I kind of thought we could marry those two ideas so we could potentially help move some of these dairy products and get them into the hands of those who need it most. So then I reached out to some of my close friends. So we're partnering with SUNY Morrisville, Morrisville Eaton Central School District, which is actually where Rebecca works, and then as well as the Morrisville Auxiliary Corporation, to kind of pool all of our resources to get that product out to those who need it in the community.
Okay, so what did it entail? You talk about all these groups you work with. Were you working also with farmers, or was just this through the dairy kind of through the college program and through the high school?
I don't know if you want to jump in, Rebecca, but anytime,
Yeah.
feel free.
Sure, we can go back and forth. Can you repeat the question again, Matt, for me quick?
So you, Ashley referenced how you guys all came together. You came together just as the schools and together, or was this a partnership with farmers, with outside groups? Who else was involved with this?
Sure. So, the five of us girls know each other, through work, and, through a friendship. So, we are all connected to the dairy industry to begin with. My husband is a third generation dairy farmer. Another girl involved, Kathleen Orth, her husband is also a dairy farmer. Sammy Collins, her husband is also a dairy farmer. And Ashley, of course, works up at the dairy complex at SUNY Morrisville. And Sarah Meza is actually a community member who works for the Morrisville Auxiliary Corporation. And she sits on my Agriculture Education Advisory Board through the Morrisville Eaton Central School District Agriculture Program. So we all have this connection personally and professionally. So collaboratively, we have, a range of farming friends in the community that is huge. So we reached out to all of our different resources and we were able to come together to pull this off.
Okay, and explain for those that aren't familiar, what is the program specifically doing? Just so folks that haven't seen or heard about it, what are you guys doing pulling this together?
So as far as our goal, we have been reaching out to a lot of our industry partners, and they've actually really stepped up. There's been a lot of organizations that are actually committing and donating products. So DFA has been a huge supporter of this initiative. They're actually the ones that are providing the milk currently. Kraft Heinz has donated a lot of products. We've also gotten help from Chobani. They've been super supportive of this and donated lots of products. And then we've had the community itself that has really stepped up and donated financially. And that allows us to also continue purchasing some of these dairy products and get those products moving off the shelf as well. So what we do is we gather all of our resources, and it may change weekly what we're actually going to be giving out. So we will provide a bag of dairy goodies. Usually there's some sort of yogurt, cheese. There's going to be sour cream this week. And then we also hand out gallons of milk to the community members who drive through. And as far as the community members' responsibilities, all they essentially have to do is show up between 4 and 6, and we will give this to them.
Okay. So how much stuff have you given out? You've done 2 so far, correct? And
Yeah.
these are every Friday from 4 to 6.
hmm
How much stuff have you given out through the first two so far?
So we kind of made a huge jump. The first week the girls and I were super conservative, and we kind of thought we were jumping in head first with 150 gallons of milk. And 150 gallons of milk were gone in less than an hour, if I'm remembering correctly, with a line backing up from the Morrisville Dairy Complex up the driveway, which is a quarter mile, down Eaton Street into town into Route 20. So we amped it up the next week. We amped it up. We got a huge shipment of milk, Ashley said, from Dairy Farmers of America, which is a cooperative. And we unloaded last week roughly 1,200 gallons of milk to just over 600 families. So each family that came through got 2 gallons of milk along with their bag of goodies, and 2 to 4 quarts of chocolate milk as well. So we don't really know where we're headed next week. We're not sure if we're just going to keep amping it up, or if we're just going to kind of hang tight at that 1,200 mark. We're very fortunate that the community, like Ashley said, has been supportive of kind of giving back some donation money. So a lot of our stuff at this point in the game is purchased product.
Okay. How many people are involved to make this run? I know you guys have referenced the 5 women involved, but is it just the 5 of you loading the cars, or do you have other volunteers? If people maybe wanted to volunteer and help, is there a way they can do that?
So this is, I mean, that's a really good question, because we've heard of a lot of people who are reaching out to us asking if they can help. Unfortunately, with the current circumstances, it's really hard to get community help to come in and help and still maintain that social distancing that we're required. So unfortunately, we have had to turn down some volunteers. So essentially, we're trying to focus on those who are still within the 3 organizations mainly. We've had a couple volunteers also from the Cornell Cooperative Extension Office in Madison, but we're trying to kind of keep it limited to how many people we can help. Can have help us, but they will be there helping us pack the bags on Friday and distribute it on Friday. And then we've had people that have stepped up to help unload the massive amounts of milk that we get from DFA, because you can imagine it takes a lot of people to unload essentially, what was it, 4,000 gallons of milk that we had last week, and store it so that we can hand that out. And then as far as, I guess, the amount of work it takes, the 5 of us meet at least 2 or 3 times a week on conference calls at about 8:15, because that's the only time that works for all of us to get together in the evening, to make sure that we can schedule everything out, we can figure out what products are coming, who's going to pick it up, where it's being donated from, what we still need to purchase, things like that. So it's definitely a huge time investment, but we all are happy to do it once we see the need that is obvious that is in our community.
If people want, is there a way that people can donate to help with this? Maybe not with time, but with funds, or if they want to get involved in another way, is there a way they can help you there?
Sure. So, at this point, our initiative really was to just work both sides of the story, right? Work the dairy industry side of the story, and then work the need side of the story. So we're in a really great spot where we can do both right now. We absolutely are not going to turn away any monetary donations, but we really just want people to know that is not what this is about. The girls and I keep saying when we get together, the definition of need during this COVID-19 pandemic is a little different. Ashley and I are working closely together. We're both expecting soon in the end of May and June. And, who's to say that we wouldn't be in need if we didn't have family to help. So I think the definition of need goes beyond that financial piece as far as that goes. So we will not turn away any monetary donations, but we really just want people to know that that's not the driving force to this.
Okay.
Sorry, I just want to add a little bit more on that and continue on that definition of need. I know some people, there's been a little bit of pushback because you say you see somebody that drives through with a really nice vehicle, and it's easy to look at that person and say, you don't need this product that we're handing out. But who's to say that essentially their safety net has now just been taken out from underneath them because of this pandemic? Or we don't know their story. They could be immunocompromised, something like that, and they are just unable or too terrified to go to the grocery store to buy this thing themselves. So there's some people that are coming through that way and definitely want to help monetarily. But this is the only way they will get their dairy products is through something like this.
Okay. Okay. Just so people that aren't familiar with this, can you tell us, I know we said it's Fridays from 4 to 6. Where is it?
It's been moving.
Yeah, it's a carousel.
Well, how about this? Is there a place people can go, either a website or a phone number that they can call maybe, where they can find out where it's going to be?
So we're hoping that moving forward for the next 3 weeks, it will be in the same location now. So we actually are going to have it on the SUNY Morrisville campus. And this is because it allows us to essentially load straight out of one of the places that we were storing the product. So if people come into town and they just enter the main entrance of the SUNY Morrisville campus, they should be directed from there to get to where the giveaway is.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say to folks before we call today?
And I'm pretty sure Rebecca's going to echo me in this one, is that we cannot express enough, I guess, the gratitude of the support from people in the community and those in the industry who have just stepped up to help with this. And then it's also humbling and overwhelming and extremely exciting to hear about the stories of all the little milk drives that are now starting to crop up. I know Rebecca is in close contact with somebody right now who is trying to figure out how we did it, what they can do to essentially do what we're doing, and do these types of outreach programs, I guess, further out in the state and even in the Northeast.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is, we joked around about, like, do we need a hashtag? Like, do we need something that people can follow so they can do this other places, right? So this truly is becoming a movement across the East Coast. I mean, there are places in Pennsylvania doing it, lots of places in New York. Lewis County is doing one. DeRidder is doing one. We have a contact out in Fabius area that is doing some things.
I think they gave away 7,700 gallons yesterday in Syracuse.
In Syracuse, sure. So, and the goal for us, as far as closely tied to the farming industry as we are, is that we want people to rediscover dairy. And I'm taking Ashley's words right out of her mouth, is what she said the other day in one of our texts, is that, unfortunately, throughout the years, there has been some kind of a little bit of pushback about the dairy industry. But really, we're here, we're there, we have the product, and hopefully people can rediscover dairy through this kind of uncertain times that we are in.
Thank you both for what you're doing. Please thank everyone that you are working with. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time today to talk to us, and we hope to see you over the course of the next 3 weeks and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, thank you very much for reaching out. Swing through and get some milk.
We will talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks very much.